On October the 6th, 2011, an article attributed to the Australian Associated Press was released onto websites such as that of the Herald Sun, a news website here in Australia. The article is titled, "Let Generation Y Buy a House with Super Savings." Nicholas Gruen says. No particular journalist is attributed to the article on the Herald Sun webpage. The journalist is anonymous. The article informs us that Nicholas Gruen is Chief of Lateral Economics. No other disclosure is made. If we go to the Lateral Economics website and search the homepage and Who Are We page, we find no reference to the Australian housing market. The profile of Nicholas Gruen on the Who Are We page does give us a link, as it tells us that Nicholas Gruen is not only CEO of Lateral Economics, but he is also CEO of Peach Financial Group. It turns out Peach Financial Group is all about home loans. It seems the Australian Associated Press failed to disclose this most obvious conflict of interest. It is certainly not readily apparent when one views the Lateral Economics webpage. So Nicholas Gruen has been featured in a widely read so-called professional news article relating to home finance, and disclosure of his CEO status at a home finance institution has not been made. Here you can see an example of journalistic ethics as part of the Australian Journalists Association Code of Ethics. From this code we can read, "Disclose conflicts of interest that affect or could be seen to affect the accuracy, fairness or independence of your journalism. Do not improperly use a journalistic position for personal gain. Do not allow advertising or other commercial considerations to undermine accuracy, fairness or independence." Nicholas Gruen is not part of Generation Y. As I have said, Generation Y is not asking for handouts. The handouts have varied. The First Home Owners Grant and Boost have amounted to $15,000 and $21,000. Obviously, these figures are hardly going to affect home prices of, say, $350,000 or $500,000. The loan gets levered up, though, making it amount to numbers in excess of, say, $100,000. People whom sell their house receive this money, enabling them to purchase further up the so-called housing ladder. Further discussion. I have noticed that when articles like this are featured, there is a certain amount of finger-pointing towards so-called Generation Y for being too useless to put together a deposit for a home loan. But Generation Y are not asking for handouts. The Australian Bureau of Statistics makes it clear, as we can read from their website. The housing market has long been recognised as having a significant impact on the Australian economy. With one of the highest home ownership rates in the developed world, Australia has had, in recent years, a number of government policies implemented to stimulate the construction industry and the housing market when under threat of decline. Further, we can read, the second initiative commenced in November 2008, when the global economic downturn caused many Australians to be unsure of where to invest their money. To reduce the impact of the global financial crisis, the Commonwealth Government introduced the First Home Owners Boost for homes purchased after 14 October 2008, with an emphasis on stimulating construction of new dwellings. This boost was then extended to 30 September 2009, when it was halved until it ended on 31 December 2009. And even further we can read, while government initiatives such as the First Home Owners Grant and the First Home Owners Boost clearly influenced the housing market, grants to first home buyers have been phased back. Clearly, the First Home Owners Grant and the First Home Owners Boost were introduced to benefit all whom are vested in the housing market. This graph has two vertical lines denoting the beginning and end of the First Home Owners Boost. Please allow for lag, as the housing market takes time to change course, like a big ship. The reality is that everyone whom is vested in the housing market is a benefactor of the handouts. The reality is that, it seems that, Mr. Gruen is really asking for a handout for himself and his own interests. This ain't complicated. Further, the baby bonus. From Wikipedia, we read, the baby bonus scheme introduced by the federal government of Australia in the 2002 budget was aimed at offsetting the expenses associated with bearing a child. The scheme was also introduced as a means of increasing Australia's fertility rate and to mitigate the effects of Australia's ageing population. Please notice that the baby bonus was introduced in part to benefit an ageing population. Again, it was not Generation Y whom asked for this handout. I ask, is it fair to point the finger at Generation Y, whom is not asking for handouts? Look at whom is asking for and actually benefiting from the handouts. And how about the lack of disclosure regarding Mr. Gruen on behalf of the Australian Associated Press and the subsequent media outlets who released the story? Basically, the government and corporate media in Australia is trash like it is elsewhere. Please see my YouTube channel for further examples of this. Bye for now.